Morning. So we're going to finish our series today, summer-based training for college cross country senior year. The last 4 days we've done freshman, sophomore, and junior. Today we're going to do senior. Previous to that, we've done high school every year in high school, summer-based training for each year. And just so you can see the progression of how it kind of evolves each year. And kind of, and I always say this, it's very much more effective, much easier to have a conservative, gradual increase. Why? Because it's easy to add to training than it is to have to take 2 steps back because you did too much too soon, right? So this is all in line with keeping athletes healthy as well. So if you're an athlete or a coach, and for some reason you're not subscribed to this channel, but you enjoy the content, please do that both right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Okay. And if you want access to me, if you have any questions, you need to look at your training, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com is my email. Okay. It's my direct email, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. You can reach out to me at any point in time. Okay. But today we're going to talk about, again, summer-based training for cross-country college seniors. And we break it down with the men and the women. Okay. We'll get right into this. And if you have any questions along the way, put them in the comments. I'll answer them live time. I want you to know that you have access to somebody who can actually answer your questions when they're being asked. So I think it's important to me as a coach and a former competitive runner to be able to provide that for folks who want to continue to learn. So, and I appreciate you being here and spending time with me. So let's get right into it. Okay. Weeks 1 and 2. Okay. You'll see there's 2 numbers here and there's 2 lines in the middle. On the left side is women. On the right side is men if it's your first time here. And if it is your first time here, welcome. Okay. So week 1, this is after, let's just say, they take it to a week or a 2-week break, whatever athletes might do. And this is in college. So approaching senior year in college. So, they're at to the point now where their fitness and their aerobic training and their anaerobic training has been developed substantially, hopefully. So keep those numbers in mind when you look at the training. Okay. So week 1, on Monday, women do 6 miles, men do 7. Tuesday, women do 7, the men do 8. Wednesday, women do 8, the men do 9. Thursday, women do 7 and the men do 6. Friday, women do 6, the men do 4. Saturday, women do 10 rolling as the long run. That's rolling hills. And men do 12 rolling hills. Okay, 12 miles over rolling hills. It's a good way to compound and build strength each week. And if you have the ability to do that over rolling hills, hopefully in the shade, hopefully over some soft surfaces, I highly encourage you to take advantage of it. Okay. Sunday, the women run 5, the men run 4. You'll see some days the men run less than women. That won't always be the case. Okay. Week 2, on Monday, the women do 7 and the men do 7. Tuesday, women do 8 and the men do 9. Wednesday, the women do 8, the men do 10. Thursday, the women do 9 and the men do 9. Friday, the women do 6, the men do 7. Saturday, women do 12 over rolling hills and the men do 13 over rolling hills. Sunday, women do 4 easy and the men do 5 easy. Okay, that's week 1 and 2. And I'm giving you a 12-week plan. It's broken down into 3 segments of 4 weeks each. So you'll notice just mileage over the first 4 weeks. And then we add other components of the training. So week 3, on Monday, women do 7, the men do 8. On Tuesday, women do 9, the men do 11. Wednesday, women do 10, the men do 12. Thursday, the men do 10. Women do 10, the men do 11. Friday, the women do 6, the men do 8. Saturday, the women do 10 over rolling hills, the men do 14 over rolling hills. Sunday, the women do 4 easy, men do 6 easy. Okay, week 4. Oh, before I go week 4, I have a comment here. Coach, Thori, how are you? Here, I'm going to put my email address right here in the comments so we have it. Okay. Here you go, Thori. It's right below your comment in the comments. All right. So week 4, women do 8 on Monday, the men do 9. Tuesday, the women do 10, the men do 11. Wednesday, the women do 11, the men do 13. Thursday, women do 10, the men do 11. Friday, the women do 9, the men do 10. Saturday, the women do 15, the men do 16. Sunday, the women do 4, the men do 5. Now, before we go any further, the mileage might be a little bit high, but again, we've built up to this point over the years, right? And we take the first 4 weeks to get to the goal mileage or close to it before we add other elements to the training. Okay, so you'll see the long run is essentially about 20% of the weekly volume. The semi-long run, which is usually midweek, usually Wednesday, if they're long run Saturday, that's usually about 75 to 80% of the long run itself. So those 2 days, you'll be able to accumulate quite a bit of mileage. And then you can add other things to the other days. Okay. So right back into this again. Weeks 3 and 4, you'll see accumulation of mileage. And if you add it up, let's just say week 4. Okay, 8, 10, it's 18, 29, 39, 48, 64, 68 miles for the women. Okay, men, 9, 11, 20, 33, 44, 54, 70, 75 miles for the men. So it's not as daunting as people think. And like I said, it's easy to bump from 75 to 85 and so on and so forth. You can add, double runs on certain days or add a couple miles here, a couple miles there. It's easy to go from 75 to 85, but it's up to you as a coach or an athlete to decide whether it's appropriate or not. Okay. Whether your athletes can handle it. I have a lot of folks that ask me, how do I get from 40 to 70? Well, that's great and all, but wouldn't it be best to go from 40 to 50 first? Then 50 to 60, then 60 to 70. Taking gradual steps to get there, you'll see is a more effective way of keeping you healthy, keeping your athletes healthy. Okay. And again, there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all program. High mileage doesn't work for everybody, neither does low mileage. It's up to us to decide individually where people are best fit. Okay. But this gives you a template to kind of look at and to kind of turn into your own. Now, let's get to the next cycle, weeks 5 through 8. You'll see here. Speed development. That's where I add this twice a week, weeks 5 through 8. So week 5, women do 8 on Monday, men do 9. Tuesday, the women do 10, and then they do 5 times 100-meter uphill after the 10. The men do 11 plus 5 times 100-meter after the uphill after the run as well. Wednesday, the women do 11, the men do 12. Thursday, the men and the women do 10 each. Friday, the women do 7, and then do 5 times 150 on the flats. Okay. Men do 8 miles, then 5 by 150 on the flats after the run as well. Okay. So they could be on the track, they could be on an open field, whatever you see fit. Then Saturday, 15 miles rolling for the women, 16 miles rolling for the men. Okay. And this is a great way of backing up the speed development after the run. Okay. And then 4 miles easy for Sunday for the women, 6 miles easy for the men. Now, at any point in time, if you need to incorporate an off day, you do that. You'll see in week 6 here, I have off days on Sunday for both. But at this point, ideally, you go as long as you possibly can, and then you start to phase in off days as well. This allows the athletes to train and recover at the same time without having to overdo it. Okay. So week 6, women do 8 on Monday, the men do 9. Then Tuesday, the women do 10, then they do 5 times 150 uphill now. And the men do 11 plus 5 times 150 uphill afterward as well. We added 50 meters to the uphill running. Okay. Same amount of reps after the run. Wednesday, women do 12, the men do 13. Thursday, women do 10, the men do 11. Friday, the women do 6 and then 5 times 200 meters on the flats. And then the men do 8 miles and 5 times 200 meters on the flats. You can take a walk, jog, recovery, whatever you see fit. And when on the flat stuff, you can progress from 8 mile pace down 800-meter pace. It acts as a good form of speed development for cross country and track. Okay, and again, we added 50 meters to the flat and 2 on Fridays. So it's essentially in this cycle, in this system, it's Tuesday uphills, Friday flat sprinting, a flat acceleration running in the summer. Okay, Saturday, women do 16 rolling, the men do 18 rolling. And then they're off Sunday. Okay, so that's how we're looking at here when we start to incorporate the speed development. Again, we have one more cycle of this, or 2 more weeks of this, I should say. Okay, each of this 4-week cycle, we add 50 meters per week to the uphill running and their flat running. So you'll see here in week 7, the women do 8 Monday, the men do 9. But on Tuesday, the women do 10, and now we do 5 times 200-meter uphill. Afterward, the men do 11 miles and then 5 times 200-meter uphill as well. And back at it. It's going to be easy walk down recovery, easy jog down recovery. And the longer the hill gets, the more gradual it can become. The shorter it gets, it can be a little bit more steep. Okay? Just as a kind of food for thought. Wednesday, the women do 11, the men do 13. Thursday, women do 9, and the men do 10. Okay, now Friday, this is where it differs from high school cross. If you looked at the high school base running, we don't start doing any tempo or threshold running until week 9. Here, we started at week 7 in the college. Why? Because they race less frequently in college and cross country. So you can incorporate some workouts a little bit earlier on. So Friday here, a good warm up and drills and strides for both men and women, obviously. And then the women do 2 times 10-minute tempo with a 2-minute recovery in between and 5 minutes after the second one. And then 5 by 250 meters afterward. Acceleration when you're tired after the tempo. But these are broken tempos right now. Okay. Again, this allows them to lock into the pace, the right pace ranges without having to go out and try to do the whole thing in one shot. Okay. And using what they ran for a 1,500 or a mile in the outdoor season, you can calculate their training paces for the tempos and thresholds and so on. Okay. And then later on, you can test them at the end of the summer and then can reset the training paces for cross country and everything else. Okay. So here the men do 2 times 12.5-minute tempo, 2 minutes in between the reps, 5 minutes after the second one, and also 5 by 250 on the back end. Walk, jog, recovery, go from a mile to 800-meter pace. Okay. And obviously they cool down on the back end. Women do 15-mile rolling on Saturday, and men do 17 rolling Saturday, and 5 easy on Sunday for the women, 6 easy on Sunday for the men. Okay, week 8. Monday, women do 8, men do 9. Tuesday, the women do 10, 5 by 250 uphill now. Okay, this is as long as we get on the uphills. And 11, the men do 11 plus 5 by 250 uphill. Wednesday, women do 12 miles, men do 13 miles. Thursday, women do 10, men do 11. Friday, again, warm up, drills and strides. Now we're going to also touch base with VO2. We're going to alternate here for tempo and threshold for a couple of weeks. You'd be surprised at how fast your athletes can get off of just doing tempo and threshold and complementing it with some basic speed development over about a 6-week period. You'd be shocked how fast people can get just on that alone. Non-invasive way of getting fit and then preparing yourself for the more intense training that comes later on. Because if you do, I say this a lot, if you do too much too soon, there's a very good chance that your athletes or you will be too sharp and maybe 4 to 6 weeks early and be a little bit tired, fatigued, even fried when championship season comes. And that's what we want to try to avoid. Okay. So Friday here, the women do 5 times a K at threshold pace, which is about 8 to 10 seconds faster per mile than tempo pace. Take a 1 minute in between the rest. 1 minute rest in between the reps, and then 5 minutes after the last one. And then on the back end, 5 by 200 meters. If they want to do 5 by 300 meters, they can. They don't have to. Okay. It's up to you. It's up to you to decide. Men do 5 by 1200 meters with a 1 minute recovery in between the rep, 5 minutes after the last one, also at threshold pace, and then 5 by 200. But if you can do 5 by 300, even better. And then it'll cool down on the back end. Saturday, women do 16 rolling. The men do 18 rolling. Sunday, 4 easy for the women, 5 easy for the men. Okay. Now you've got 4 weeks of speed development, also 2 weeks of threshold training. Okay. And this is going to take us in for the last 4 weeks of the summer as well. More speed development, and we're going to build on that threshold and tempo, which is VO2 max initial. Okay. Now, weeks 9 and 10. Weeks 9, women do 8 on Monday, the men do 9. Tuesday, women do 10. And then we kind of reset a little bit here and then do 5 by 100 meter uphill afterward. The men do 11, men also 5 times 100 meter uphill. We kind of go back and we try to run it either a little bit faster or a little further, depending on what they're doing. Okay, mostly a little faster. Wednesday, women do 12, the men do 13. Thursday, the women do 9, the men do 10. Friday now, we're going to build off what we did week 7, warm up, drills, and strides. And then we're going to combine the 2 times 10-minute tempo and try to do 20 minutes consecutive tempo. Okay, with a 5-minute recovery and then 5 by 250 meters on the back end. Okay, you can even do a couple of transition 200s in the beginning after the warm up. Let's just say your tempo runs at 6-minute pace. You do a couple of 200s in the beginning at 44, 45. Helps you find that pace before the tempo starts. That way you're not having to look for it in the tempo. Okay, 2 to 3 times 200 meter jog. And that alone will help you find your rhythm in the workout. Okay. Men they combine the 2 times 12.5 minutes. Now they do 25-minute consecutive tempo, 5-minute recovery, and then 5 by 250 meters on the back end as well. This teaches you how to accelerate when you're already fatigued. Simulates the end of a race, right? Especially a long one. especially ones in cross country where you have a lot of hills in the middle and the legs are, it's very hard to get your legs back under you. That's the whole point of these acceleratory components after the tempos and after the threshold workouts, to simulate kicking that last 400 meters, the last 500 meters of a cross country race, where a lot of people just are hanging on for dear life, right? And then you cool down the back end. And the women do 15 miles rolling on Saturday. Men do 17 rolling on Saturday. Sunday, women do 5 easy. Men do 6 easy. And again, at any point in time, if you feel an athlete needs a day off, you give them a day off. Okay, period. Take rest as it is. Okay. Week 10, women do 8 on Monday, men do 9. Tuesday, women do 10, it's 5 by 150 meters uphill now. And the men do 11 and 5 by 150 meters on the uphill again. You're repeating what you did a couple weeks prior. We're going to see if you recover better. We're going to see if you run it a little bit more effectively. And again, you're leaning into these hills. You're pumping your arms in and you're lifting your knees. And the same thing applies when you're jogging down back on the hill. Okay, and walking down. You want to lean into the hill too so you stay perpendicular. Instead of leaning back, putting stress on your lower back and your Achilles and your joints and your knees. Another food for thought. Wednesday, women do 12, the men do 13. Thursday, women do 10, the men do 11. Friday, again, workout day. Okay, we're gonna build off what you did week 8. Okay, so in week 8, and again, warm-up drills and strides and so on. Right, you can do a couple of transitional 200s to find the pace in this as well. It's up to you. Okay, so women did 5 by 1K in week 8. Right now, we're gonna go 5 times 1200. We're gonna adding 200 meters, but we're gonna try to maintain that same pace. We're just gonna spend a little bit more time in the threshold zone, which is one way to improve their fitness and preparatory readiness for cross-country racing. Okay, 1 minute after each rep, 5 minutes after the last one, and then at threshold pace and 5 by 200 on the back end. Okay, men are going to go from 5 times 1200 in week 8 to 5 times 1600. Okay, and now keep this in mind. The women's 5 times 1200, that's 6K worth of running. That's exactly what they're going to be running most of their races in college. The men, 5 times 600 is 8K, 5 miles, exactly what they're going to be racing in college. Okay, but this is threshold, so it's a little bit different. But getting up to that race distance is key. Okay, the 1 minute recovery after each one. Same concept here. You're spending more time in the threshold zone, adding 400 meters per rep in that threshold zone. Okay, 1 minute after each rep, 5 minutes after the last one, and 5 by 200 on the back end. Then you do a cool down. Okay, Saturday, women do 16 rolling, men do 18 rolling. Sunday, women do 4 easy, men do 5 easy. Okay, now weeks 11 and 12, the last 2 weeks. Okay, women do 8 on Monday, men do 9. Tuesday, women do 10 and 5 times 200 meter uphill. The men do 11 plus 5 times 200 meter uphill. Okay, women do 12 on Wednesday, the men do 13. Women do 9 on Thursday, men do 10. Remember, that semi-long run, just a consistent pattern. If you look at all 12 weeks, right, you start off relatively easy on Monday. You do some type of speed development when you get to that point on Tuesday. Semi-long run Wednesday, a little bit less of a run on Thursday, which kind of leads you right into the workout. And here, we're going to repeat what they did weeks 9. Okay, so the women, again, warm-up drills and strides, transition 200s if needed. The women are going to repeat that 20-minute tempo and see if they improve on that from last time. Take a 5-minute recovery, and then it's going to run 1 times 400 meter hard. Okay. Men are going to repeat the 25-minute tempo, take a 5-minute recovery, and then 1 500 meter effort hard. Simulate that finishing sprint of a race. Okay. Instead of waiting to the last 50 or last 100, if you can learn how to kick from further out, you'd be surprised how many people you'll pass. And that's the name of the game, right? Low scoring in cross country. Want to put yourself in a position to pass people whenever you can possibly do that. Okay. But I will say this also, tempo runs and threshold reps, for the most part, should be done on flat surfaces. That way, it's easy for you to lock into the pace ranges. And the pace ranges are important because it makes sure that you and your athletes are all training in the right zones based on their current fitness so that they're not training over their head. That's the easiest way to put everybody in position to close that gap in cross country. From a 90-second spread to a 60 to eventually, hopefully, a 30, right? And then you cool down after workout Friday. Then women do 15 on Saturday and men do 17. Okay, and then 5 easy Sunday for the women, 6 easy Sunday for the men. Last week here, okay, women 8 on Monday, 9 on Monday for the men. Tuesday, women do 10 and 5 by 250 meter uphill. Men do 11 plus 5 by 250 5 by 250 uphill. And then we cut back a little bit here. Women do 9 on Wednesday, the men do 10. Okay. We also cut back Thursday. Women do 6, the men do 8. Because Friday, we're going to test everybody. Okay. We're going to do warm up drills and strides. And we're going to test the women at 2 kilometers. You can test them at a mile. It's up to you to decide. But since the races are mostly 6K and cross country, I want to see how their strength is. And we've already used the most recent mile, okay, as a way to setting up their threshold and tempo paces. And if they're able to do that, okay, then you know they're not far from their mile fitness. But since the race is longer in cross country, I want to test them a little bit longer here. So we test them at 2K. The men, we tested 3K. Okay. Then we take an 8-minute recovery and then 5 times 300 meters on the back end. You can do it at a mile pace and even finish an 800 meter pace if you can. Then a little cool down. Okay. Then Saturday, 10 rolling for the women, 12 rolling for the men, just to recover from this and flush it out. And then Sunday's an off day. So there it is, the 12-week plan for cross-country based training for seniors in college. Okay, and again, like I said, I always toe the conservative line in terms of volume. It makes it easier to add to. If you can add doubles 2 or 3 times per week, and all of a sudden you've added 10 miles or 12 miles, and you went from 75 to almost 90. But it's really up to you to decide what volume is appropriate for everybody. So if anybody has any other comments, questions, put them in the comments right now. Okay. And if you found this helpful, please hit that thumbs up. Okay. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continue to put forth stuff. Next up, we're going to do, because I'm getting a lot of questions about this, what if you're in the 400, 800 group? What should you be doing in the summer? What should you do in the fall? After I do that 400, 800 group tomorrow in the summer, then we're going to go to a high school cross-country plan for the fall, a college cross-country plan for the fall, and a training plan for the fall for 400, 800 folks who either don't run cross-country races at all or sporadically run because their coaches might need them to run. This is more applicable in high school, right? In college, it hardly ever happens if you're a 4-8 runner because you're training for 8K and 10K rather than 5K in high school. You can easily transition. You can easily even do enough aerobic training and threshold training and VO2 max work so that if you happen to need a 400, 800 runner to come and participate in a couple cross-country races, they can do that. But you can also make it easier for them to transition to track in the fall. Okay, you can get them fit for both. So that's what's going to be the next couple of days in this live stream here. So get ready. If you have any questions about that, if you want me to put out something that I haven't put out yet, put it in the comments too. Okay. So hope you found this helpful. And again, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. I want to put in the screen here. Okay. This is my email right here. Okay. You can email me anytime you want with questions. I'd be more than happy to help. Okay. So have a great day, everybody. Okay, take care of yourselves in the summer. If you can, run early in the morning in summer. It's the coolest part of the day. Okay, just be consistent. And some running is better than no running. Remember, you're using cross country in the fall to complement or build off what you did over the summer, not to replace what you didn't do over the summer. Okay, the goal is to avoid having to race yourself into shape because you didn't do much running over the summer. So, and it doesn't need to be, you're not training your Eliud Kipchoge miles or anything like that. You put in a fair amount of mileage. You build your long run, right? Do a little bit of speed development. You'd be surprised at how good a shape you'll come back in from cross country. So have a great rest of the summer, gang. I'm looking forward to talking to you next time. Talk to you soon.